Good morning, guys. It's March 27th. I hope you guys are doing okay. I miss you guys so much. I love all the videos you guys are making. Every time I watch it, I cry. You know I'm a crier, so it doesn't take much to set me off. Guys did real nice on the quiz. I'll have all your grades in the portal by the end of the day. Okay, I'm sorry, it wasn't a quiz, it was a test. Thank you for doing your best to upload it straight because I've been looking at things sideways and it's been driving me crazy. Today we are going to start a new lesson. What you're going to need to do your lesson is possibly your copy of the unit circle or your little index cards that you guys made, okay, with your quadrantos and your regular ones. So you want to keep that next to you. Okay, so let's start today's lesson. Today's lesson is solving trigonometric equations. All right, don't freak out. Here we go. 2x minus 1 equals 0. Solve for x. And you're probably sitting there saying, oh my God, she's lost her mind. She's been in isolation too long. No, I haven't. I'd add 1 to both sides. I'm left with 2x equals 1. Divide by 2. Divide by 2. X is 1/2. Today's lesson is as easy as doing that. With the exception, I'm going to add a word in place of the x. But if you can solve this equation and any equation like it, you can do trigonometric equations. So how about I rewrite this equation and I do this. 2 cosine of x minus 1 equals 0. Going to still solve for the cosine of x just like I solved for the x here. I'm going to add 1 to both sides. 2 cosine x equals 1. Divide both sides by 2. Cosine of x equals 1/2. But technically, I haven't solved for x. Okay, what this question is saying is, what angle has a cosine of 1/2? Okay, so you'll take out your little cards, okay, and I can see that cosine of 1/2 is pi over 3. X equals pi over 3. That's what I need to solve for. I need to find the angle. Except we know that cosine is positive in quadrant 1 and in quadrant 4. So this is the angle that's in quadrant 1. What is the quadrant that's in what is the angle that's in quadrant 4? Okay, cosine of 1/2 over here is 5 pi over 3. Obviously, it's going to be a pi over 3. It's just going to be 5 pi over 3. Remember how we do that, guys. If we're looking for the angle in quadrant 4, remember, if it's pi over 3, this is going to be 3 over 3. This would be 6 over 3. If I'm in quadrant 4, I'm not yet 5 over 3. I'm sorry, I'm not yet 6 over 3. So I am 5 over 3. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, at this point in your lives, just choose your unit circle. If you don't have your unit circle with you at home, go on the internet. They have literally thousands of them that you can print out. But that's it. Will it get harder? Yes, Corey, it's going to get a little harder, but nothing that you can't handle. So let's practice a few problems. Basically, you're just solving an equation, and when you get to the end, you're going to look for the angle. So let's try another one. I'll move my coffee out of the way. All right, we have cosine theta equals 3 cosine theta plus 1. Okay, guys, if you want, if you're having a hard time visualizing what to do, replace that in your mind with x. X equals 3x plus 1. What would you do here? You would bring this to the other side, combine like terms. I'm going to do the same thing here. Only instead of it just being an x, it has the word cosine in front of it. 1 minus 3 is negative 2 cosine theta equals 1. Divide both by -2. Sorry. Cosine theta equals -1/2. So now I need to find an angle that has a cosine of -1/2. First of all, where do I live if I'm a negative cosine? I'm here and here. The angle that has a cosine of 1/2 is pi over 3. But I need it in this quadrant. And again, you could just use your unit circle at this point. In quadrant 2, if this is my reference angle, theta is going to be 2 pi over 3 and 4 pi over 3. And again, at this point, ladies and gentlemen, please, you can just use, okay, your reference. Look, -1/2 is 2 pi over 3. And in this quadrant, -1/2 is 4 pi over 3. So you're just solving equations. Okay, we're going to do 2 more before I set you off on your own. Okay, we'll do one where we're going to have to distribute. 2 sine theta plus 1 equals sine theta plus 3. I'll distribute the two, guys. You're following all the math rules, okay? Everything you've learned about math. 2 sine theta plus 2 equals sine theta plus 3. I have to say, there's something relaxing about working with the Sharpie. It really is. I don't know what it is. I think it's the sound it makes on the paper. Listen. Can you hear it? 2 minus 1, 1 sine theta. Sine theta equals 1. Ooh, 1. Who has a sine of 1? That's a quadrantal. Sine is your y value. There it is. This only has one answer, pi over 2. Don't forget your quadrantals. And don't forget that sine and cosine can never be greater than 1. Okay, so if you get a problem where it says the sine of theta is 2, reject it. Doesn't work. And you will get those. Okay, I'm going to show you one more example. All right, so maybe 2. It depends on the time. 4 sine squared x plus 1 equals 4. Again, you're just going to solve it as if this was just an x. I'm going to subtract 1 from both sides. Divide both sides by 4. I have a square there. How do we get rid of a square, ladies and gentlemen? That's right, with square root. So we're going to have the sine of x equals. Now this is where you have to watch. When you square root something, ladies and gentlemen, it's a positive and a negative. Okay, always remember. That means you're going to be in every quadrant. There's going to be 4 answers. The square root of 3, I have no idea what that is. I'll leave it. And the square root of 4, I do know that is 2. So now I need to know who has a sine of radical 3 over 2. And I know that that's going to be pi over 3. Okay, so if it's pi over 3, remember, I'm in every quadrant. So it's pi over 3 in quadrant 1. It's 2 pi over 3 in quadrant 2. It is 4 pi over 3 in quadrant 3. And it is, I can't think, 5 pi. Yes, 5 pi over 3 in quadrant 4. So this one has 4 answers. Okay, I'm looking at the time. I'm going to do one more with you. 3 cotangent squared x plus 4 equals 7. 3 cotangent squared x equals 3. I subtracted the 4, divided by 3, divided by 3. Cotangent squared x equals 1. Square root, cotangent x equals plus and minus. The square root of 1 is 1. But we don't know the cotangent, so we're going to have to do the reciprocal, which is the tangent. And when I flip 1, lo and behold, I still get the positive and negative 1. And that, again, is in all quadrants, positive and negative. And what is the angle that gives me a tangent of that? Well, it's pi over 4. And then it would be, remember this is 4 over 4, this is 8 over 4. So it's pi over 4 here. It'd be 3 pi over 4, quadrant 2. 5 pi over 4 in quadrant 3, and 7 pi over 4 in quadrant 4. Okay, guys, I'm going to give you some equations to try and solve for homework. Your homework is not due until Monday. It's the weekend. I hope you guys are all safe. Like I said, I love your videos. I miss all of you so much. You guys are doing tremendous work. I'm just so proud of you guys. I hope you had fun with those brain puzzles that I sent yesterday. I'll be sending out the answers today also. Have a great weekend, and I hope to see you soon. I love you all. Bye-bye.